morning, everyone. I am Doug Scaff, your host today on Outside the Echo Chamber. We're getting ready for Memorial Day weekend. We have a fantastic show lined up for you today. We're coming to you from the Frontier Studios here, downtown Charleston. HD Media Productions. Big thank you to the Media Center and their team for putting this together. We can't do it without them. Hey, we're going to talk about Live on the Levee. Live on the Levee starts back tomorrow, Friday night, this week, and it goes all the way through Labor Day. We're going to hear from Matt Sutton and part of their team on what makes Live on the Levee happen. You know, it's been on hiatus for a little while. Then we're going to talk to Bill Lepp. Bill Lepp became famous for being a liar, a famous liar, and now he's wrote a book, and we're going to talk to him about it. But first, I'm so excited to have with us today is Shantay Ellis, joining us today on the set for the first time. Shantay, thank you for being here. Shantay, you are the fairly new director of the YWCA of Charleston. You do racial equity and inclusion, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Well, welcome to the show. We're excited to have you. You have a lot going on right now.
I do, a whole lot.
How's your first year in the role been?
Well, my first year has been busy. I've hit the ground running for sure. Lots of changes and lots of growth has happened, and so I'm excited for what's to come.
And that's why we wanted to talk to you today, because one of the growth is you are kind of expanding or utilizing a existing facility, just kind of doing more with it. Talk about that for a minute.
Yes, and so the YWCA owns a building where Second Seating used to be on Elizabeth Street, and so we had a tenant in there, and she moved out, and so our program has grown so much, I needed my own brick and mortar. And so I'm excited that I'll get to have that here, and we don't have a date of opening, but I can say maybe, hopefully at the end of the year or early next year. We're looking forward to that.
Well, I know you guys do so much, and I work a lot with the YWCA and all the different programs, but talk about some specific goals of what you do and what you're trying to do.
Well, the vision for the center is to have a place that's safe and brave, where we can have open conversations around race and facilitated discussions. And those discussions can look like implicit bias, which is the session that you took. We do have a session called Understanding Privilege, Acting with Intent, and Meaningful Allyship. So we have a series that we can walk people through and just come have open conversations. The goal is to just have a space that's cozy, and so we can just sit and have a conversation just like this.
Now, you mentioned the implicit bias. Now, I know what it is because I did go through the program. It's a fantastic program you did for the legislature. But you put this on, and there's actually 2 or 3 parts to it. Is that correct? Or different programs? Is it one program?
Yeah, it's just one program, but there's a series.
And
then, and then so there's 4 other parts to it.
And so I think I've just done the first part.
Yes,
I got a few more to do.
You got a few more to do.
But what you do, and explain to people what that program is about, and you go out and you people can sign up and you meet with different groups and organizations, and what is the goal of that program?
So normally organizations, universities, schools, government officials, they'll call us when they don't have a diversity, equity, and inclusion component within their organization. And so we go in and provide that opportunity for them to talk among each other and kind of talk with us about personal biases.
No, I mean, you hit the nail on the head there.
Yes.
It was a very well done series and program, and I encourage everybody that can do it. You think here in Charleston, people just need to open your eyes. They need to learn more. They need to be open-minded when it comes to things, and you guys offer these programs. Talk about, you do so much, and I know about them, but talk about, for example, you got this one thing here called Over the Edge on Saturday, June 18th, where people actually they hang out over the Truist building?
Yes.
And rappel? What's going on with that?
Well, that money is used to help fund my program. And so it goes into an endowment, a racial justice endowment, and helps to support our program in perpetuity. And so that way I always have a job, and it helps support my programming as well.
Well, going over the edge. I know I've been asked. I haven't been brave enough to do it, but we actually have one of our own here, Bill Lynch.
Yes,
Bill
Bill's
Lynch.
Going over.
He's the brave soul. He's our one that's going. But It's also it's neat to do, and you get different personalities and people around town to do it. But it creates awareness.
Yes.
It brings attention
Yes.
to what you're trying to do, and that's the whole goal. What are other things you do? I know. Did you just have a race, or getting ready to have a race?
Yes, in April we had our Race to End Racism, and that is also funding towards my program as well. And we had over 600 people cross the finish line on that day. It was a beautiful day, and it was my very first one, so I was really excited about how it turned out.
Yeah, it was I know. I think we've been doing that for a few years now, but that was your first one, and I think
Yes.
it keeps growing
Yes.
bigger and bigger each year, and
Yes.
especially now we're getting back from COVID and everybody.
Yeah.
You talk about in bias and explicit bias and all that. And what we're trying to do. Do you think we need to do better as society here, and especially in Charleston, or what do we need to do more of?
Well, we're always doing more. I feel like we can do more of talking to one another, understanding each other's cultures and personalities, just getting to know each other a little bit better.
And a lot of the times is, real recognizing yourself, or just looking in the mirror, and people don't think they have a bias, or
That's
they have
right.
a perceived, notion about this or that. And I think they have to recognize themselves.
Yeah.
And that's what your program did for me and a lot of people. Oh, I never thought that is considered bias and whatnot. So
just having that moment of self-reflection is important.
that's great. That's great. So now you are currently reside. Where's your office now? My
office is in the main office on Canal Boulevard.
Oh, okay.
So I'm in the mansion.
With Deb Weinstein and the gangs over there?
Yes.
Well, I know we work a lot together. We do a lot with the, Guys Night Out and
Yes.
the Sojourner Shelter. And I know we lost Margaret this year, a fantastic person. And she's done a wonderful job. And now she's passing the torch on to others. So,
Yes.
We really appreciate having you on the show. Talk before I let you get out of here, before you leave here, tell everybody, if they haven't, how can they find out more about some of your programs? How can they learn how to sign up for the implicit bias training? Give us a pitch real quick.
Well, if you are ever interested in learning more about what the Racial Equity and Inclusion Program does for the YWCA, you can give me a call at 304-340-3594 at extension 814, and I'll be happy to walk you through the process. I also give consultations and kind of meet people where they are to see if they want to start at implicit bias. They may be past that point and may be wanting to do something else. And so we kind of walk through what they want to do and where to start with them.
And there's really no organization too big or small, right? You'll figure out a way to accommodate them all.
Right, and the center will allow us to do more programming out in the community. So the idea is to do more programming for children, and so that they can also, you have to start young and just allowing them to get to know each other. The vision we'll have a community library where people can self-educate on different cultures. And my vision is that eventually people will just come knocking at the door, just walk right in, and we'll have a group of people just talking to each other and just getting to know each other.
Oh, that's
a little bit
fantastic.
better. Yes.
Well, Shantay, I know I'm going to have you back on here again here in the future. Thank you for all that you're doing. Thank you to the YWCA. Fantastic. Over the Edge. We'll be watching for it. Yeah. June 18th. Bill Lynch can't get out of it.
Yes.
We're going to hold his feet to the fire there. But no, it's thank you again for doing it. And I think we need to all open our eyes and have a little bit of self-reflection on what we can do more as society. Hey, we're going to take a quick break on Outside the Echo Chamber. When we come back, we're going to talk to those insiders on Live on the Levee as it returns this weekend.
We know who we are, where we've been, where we're going. Like hospitals all over America, we are changing, redefining, restructuring ourselves to be the best community health system in the region we serve. We are 2 hospitals with more than 30 locations, 450 providers, and 1 mission: to heal. As one, we are Thomas Health, caring for our communities today and tomorrow.
Proudly advocating for workers and their families, the West Virginia AFL-CIO is a group of 600 labor organizations representing 70,000 active and 70,000 retired union members. We represent first responders, healthcare workers, educators, coal miners, construction workers, plant workers, truck drivers, grocery store clerks, and every job in between. We believe every worker has the right to fair wages, good benefits, and a safe workplace. That's what the West Virginia AFL-CIO fights for every day.
A new day begins, and what happens today must be covered, reported, and passed on to everyone in the region we serve. We are journalists, staff writers, editors, storytellers, Who are we? We are HD Media, trustworthy and always here for the times we live in.
What started as the Parmar Oil Company in 1967 has grown into 116 convenience stores in 4 states. Parmar convenience stores offer monthly product specials and grab-and-go items. Located just down the street from where you live, Parmar stores are all about being your above-par convenience store. If you don't have a Parmar store near you now, you will soon. Parmar Convenience Stores, neighbors serving your community and making life a little bit easier every day.
Looking for a friendly bank that you can turn to in your community? Bank where the decisions on your needs are made locally. With online banking and 7 locations. Poca Valley Bank, where relationships matter.
Welcome back, everybody, to Outside the Echo Chamber here at the Frontier Studios. Like I told you, we had an action-packed show today. Well, it's Thursday, and tomorrow's Friday, and Memorial Weekend, and that signifies one thing. Live on the Levee is ready to return. My next guest here, we got committee member here, John Ingram, city manager, Matt Sutton. Welcome to the show.
Absolutely. Thrilled to be here.
Hey, exciting times. Live on the Levee, getting ready to return. Full boat, right? What's on the lineup for tomorrow, John?
So the Carpenter Ants will be kicking things off tomorrow. They got some special guests. I don't think I'm telling any tales out of church here, but John Ellison of Some Kind of Wonderful fame will be there. Larry Gross of Mountain Stage fame will be there with the Carpenter Ants, and a fantastic Sacred Steel, pedal steel player, Nikki D out of Ohio, who, you know, it's kind of not your typical pedal steel, which you kind of associate with country stuff. You know, this is more gospel-based, really up-tempo, energetic stuff. And kicking things off for Redline will be opening up, a local R&B group, really, really good, promising young folks.
So as we go back to this whole season of Live on Levee, talk about real quick about how we're going back to a normal schedule, right? And what that entails for people who maybe haven't participated in Live on Levee before.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is since the first time in 2019 we're able to start Memorial Day and Labor Day, which is the traditional Live on Levee schedule. Last year we were able to get a full season in, but we had to push it back due to COVID. But now we've got everything back timed out, so it's every Friday night. We start about 6:30. We got food trucks out on the boulevard. We've got some vendors out on the boulevard to sell things as well. Actually, I think there's also some COVID vaccination shots that'll be out there as well that are there from basically 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock at night, and we just jam out and have a party. It's free, so there's no reason not to come down and just hang out and be around people and just have some fun.
Well, I can't wait. I know we average about 5,000 people a night, and do you have any idea how many people come from out of town, or just they come from all over, right?
I think they come from all over. I think it's especially all over this area, right? It's not just a Charleston event. This is definitely a regional event. People who can come and drive home that night. But we also have people who will come for particular shows, right? So if we have, you know, some bigger names, I know this year we've got an up-and-comer named Drew Parker who's got a good regional presence in country music. We expect people from Ashland and the, you know, Ironton, Ohio area to be coming to Charleston and be able to spend the night sometimes. But also what's nice, kicking off Friday is the shutting down Capitol Street and Hale Street for outdoor dining. So people can come to town, go eat outdoors, hang out, you know, whether it's Adelphi or Big Joe's or over at the Hale House on Hale Street, and then hang out live on a levee and then go back and hang out at our bars and keep spending the night in Charleston.
Talk about that for a moment. Talk about the economic impact. Every time you all at City of Charleston throw an event and have people come down, whether it's 5,000, 6,000 people or whatnot, talk about, we always talk about the live entertainment, but what's the true economic impact of having mass number of people downtown?
You know, it's always hard to measure what the economic impact is, but what we know is when we have events in town, our restaurants tell us they're as full as to capacity as they can be. Hence the reason why we still have outdoor dining, so they can have some extra seats. Our shops are selling more merchandise. It's just having more people in town. So every time we have an event, we can go back and track with our restaurant owners and our bar owners and our retail stores that they're having better weekends than when we don't have events. And the same thing could be true with hotels, right? When we have big events with the regatta coming in town, we already know hotels are already booked up for the 4th of July weekend because regatta is in town. And those are the type of things where we can measure it out. Multi-Fest being another one, which is a huge event in Charleston where our hotels are constantly booked. So it's easy to be able to track when we have large events. But it's also just about an energy and an excitement in town, right? So it's almost immeasurable because it is one of those things where it's just about people getting out, being a sense of community, and being able to have fun, whether you're going out and sitting and eating outdoors or just coming down to Live on a Levee. It is about just just the environment creating and the vibe in Charleston, which is just going to be amazing.
So in case they missed it in the article and on TV, talk about the times where you're going to shut down the weekend. Go over that real quick.
So the Boulevard, the Capitol Street and Hale Street will be shut down starting at 3 p.m. on Friday. And then Hale Street, the restaurants over there don't do Sunday brunch, so we open that back up Saturday night around 10 o'clock, and then Capitol Street stays closed for Sunday. This weekend it'll be closed on Monday as well to be able to have the outdoor dining on Memorial Day itself. But most weekends it is 3 o'clock on Friday to 10 p.m. on Sunday is when we open them back up.
Hey, John, we talked about getting back to a normal schedule for Live on the Levee, and you're talking to the artists and some musicians and whatnot. How excited were they, and how hard was it to find talent to come back in and play this year?
Well, it's never hard. I mean, this is a award-winning concert series. I mean, you got 15 weeks of free music. Like you said, literally thousands of people down there coming from, all around town, outside of the, in the region and elsewhere. Agents know about this, whenever, it's not something that I have to explain to a lot of people. They already know about it, so, and of course, it's always a huge honor for a local or regional musician to get onto that stage. So it's a highly coveted gig. I mean, it's a big deal. People know that. So, it's exciting.
So we know about this weekend. We know about the lineup. Do you have any other sneak peeks or previews you can give us for the other artists coming?
Well, I'll tell you a few that I'm really looking forward to. He mentioned Drew Parker, who's a rising star in the country world. Also Neil Francis, who's a piano rock guy, originally out of Chicago, now in L.A. And this is the kind of stuff, we get a few of these bigger acts, and they're all great. But there's some of them where people are really, some big touring acts, and Neil Francis is one that I'm really looking forward to. So yeah, Drew Parker, Neil Francis. We'll be doing a David Bowie tribute in a few weeks with a bunch of special guests, and so those are.
Who was the one you had a couple years ago? Was it Here Comes the Mummies or whatnot?
Yeah.
Is that whatever happened to them? Are they still out there?
Well, they did October West. Yeah, they're getting bigger and bigger. I mean, that's another thing that we do with this series is we got to catch people. Kind of on their way up, you know what I mean? And it's a similar kind of model as, Mountain Stage, and not quite on that level, but yeah, we catch these rising stars and we try to get them before they get out of our reach.
It's one of the things John and I talked about too. It's the way Charleston is situated in the music scene and in all of our venues is we have the ability to catch these artists on the rise, things like Live on the Levee and Mountain Stage, and then we've got where they can come back as they're getting bigger at the Clay Center Municipal Auditorium.
That's
and
right.
They get really big. It's the Coliseum and Convention Center, and so we have all of these venues in town that allow us for music fans and just anybody in Charleston to really experience an artist as they go through their entire career. And we think of Sierra Farrell from last year, who we had at Live on the Levee, who's just blowing up now all across the country. It's one of those things where it really is that exciting time where we're building this audience and building these people who get
Sierra started here back in the day, didn't she?
That's correct. I was just thinking, in fact, of Cinco de
pounds
Mayo
yeah.
we played that you put on. You've always been a champion of the music scene.
I love it.
I was thinking about that this
Those
morning.
were the good old days. Yeah,
Yes,
it got
they
so
were.
big we had to get a bigger parking lot.
That's
I think,
right,
for Cinco
yeah.
de Mayo. But no, Live on the Levee. I mean, so we'll talk about. And either one of you can chime in here. You talk about what you just said there. As we kind of develop our local-owned, homegrown talent, and we get to see them grow, the following continues. And when they come back, Matt, I'll joke with you for a second, but you have to say, give us that Homer discount price when it comes to that? We can't afford you now? Or do you work with your sponsors and try to see what we can?
I think it's a special feeling that the artists develop as well, right? I mean, so it is, as you get bigger, the negotiations become tougher. But it is that special feeling, because if you get to come to a Live on a Levee and you get to have a start in places and really get to know the audience and get to know the crowd, because it's a very personal experience at Live on the Levee. And we have enough of these venues where you can get to know the audiences. And I mean, I think a lot of it too is it's the local artists as well. Like, I mean, one of the exciting things about this year, Live on a Levee one of the weeks opens with the Battle of the Bands winner from the Regatta. So the Regatta is having a Battle of the Bands will take place over at City Center in Slack Plaza, and the winner of that competition is going to open at one of the Live on the Levees later in the season. So, and then we have artists that will open for the Live on the Levee act, and then go down to local bars and perform that same night. And that's really the exciting part is we get to see some of these national artists that are up and coming. But it's as much getting to that experience with our local artists that then expose them to be able to go out and be more regional and then become more national as well.
Well, John, as you know, and as you're planning events this summer, it seems like we start with Live on the Levee, And then it goes right into, you got festival, you got regatta, then you have it goes into Labor Day, and there we are for your fall series as well, and your Capitol Street when we lock down the street and we say, hey, let's go out there, and you have live entertainment throughout the city. You're going to utilize Slack Plaza, you said, this year. I think we have so many different venues. If you can't be entertained in downtown Charleston this year, there's something wrong with you.
You're actively looking for reasons to complain, because it's absolutely outrageous how much stuff we've got going on this summer.
Before I let you guys out here, talk about the sponsors real quick. Talk about, getting them back on board with all the different events we have. It costs money. Obviously it costs the city money with extra police force and cleanup and whatnot. But were the sponsors, were they ready to come back and support?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we have Moses Auto Group that's the main sponsor. But one of the things, and Jim Strawn, who helps the city raise money for this, is always on top of it in the events. But I believe if this wasn't the most he's raised, it might have been the second or third most that he's raised since we started with this, because we do have such loyal followings amongst our sponsors that we have. And it's tougher for companies right now. It really is as people come out of COVID. But this is one thing that they've stuck with, and because it is such an important thing in our community. I think for our sponsors, it's as much about this is how they give back to their community as it is about getting the recognition, because it really is something that is. There aren't many cities that do this, right? 15 weeks of free concerts of very well-known artists from all across the country, from Los Angeles to Charleston, West Virginia, right? There aren't many cities that do this, and there's no way that Charleston could pull it off without our sponsors. So, I mean, I believe that Jim was able to raise through local sponsorships over $100,000.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I mean, so it's because and John could say it's not cheap to book all these artists, because this is how they make a living.
That's right, and I mean, it's also a good investment. From an advertisement standpoint, because you got 3,500 to 5,000 built-in people down there.
That's right.
You got get eyes on your product or whatever it is. So, it's a symbiotic thing. It starts with the fans.
Well, guys, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show, talking about this. We'll have you back as somewhere I know with the other events going on as well. I see you, Matt, and return to Live on the Levee means return to Jim Strawn and return of a bunch of people on the waterfront. That's for sure. Hey, tell us again tomorrow. What time's it start and end?
Red Line will start at 6:30. The opening act 6:30 to 7:30. A little 15-minute break, and at 7:45 we start the headlining act, which will be the Carpenter Ants.
John, appreciate it. Tell the committee, great job again. Thanks for getting on the show.
Appreciate it.
Matt, good stuff,
Doug,
man.
Appreciate it, man.
Keep all the activities going. All right.
We're excited.
Good. Hey, we're going to take a quick break on Outside the Echo Chamber, and we come back. Bill Lepp talking about big, little things when we come back.
The relationship between a lawyer and a client is based on trust. You have to make certain that the lawyer you hire has your best interests at heart. We typically meet our clients at the worst times of their lives, and it's our job to help them. Over the years, we've been entrusted with some of the biggest cases in West Virginia. That's because we have a track record of success and getting exceptional results. We built a reputation as one of the go-to law firms throughout the state of West Virginia.
Joining me, high-profile lawyer Ben Salango. Ben, it's a real honor to have you on.
In fact, many of our cases come from other lawyers. Lawyers who've worked with us, lawyers who've worked against us, and even those who've merely heard of our results. We're proud of the reputation we've earned in the community for providing exceptional, aggressive legal representation. When you hire my law firm, you don't get excuses, you get results.
People keep asking me how Todd Judy Ford has the best selection of vehicles at a time of national shortage.
The secret is our 130% of Kelly Blue Book for your trade-in.
Everyone wants to trade the car with us and get more money.
And now we're making it even better.
We will beat any other dealer's trade offer by $1,000 guaranteed.
If we can't beat it, we'll just give you the cash.
So bring in that car, upgrade your vehicle, and get top dollar for your trade-in now.
Just go to ToddJudyFord.com and see for yourself.
Here in West Virginia, we're known as hard workers, friendly faces, and people with a caring spirit. At Summit Community Bank, those qualities are at the core of all that we do. We're a group of experienced professional bankers that you've known for many years. We work hard to earn your business and will work even harder to help you succeed. We customize banking solutions that work for you. We're Summit Community Bank. Service beyond expectations.
Here at Dutch Miller Jeep in South Charleston, we realize car shopping can be challenging right now. That's why we're committed to holding your hand through this process. Don't see the Jeep you're looking for on the lot? Then ask about the Dutch Miller Advantage, which means you can order the vehicle you want faster, direct from the manufacturer. It's no wonder we continue to be the #1 Jeep dealer in the state of West Virginia.
For a limited time during the Jeep Celebration event, make no payments for 90 days.
Text or chat now at DutchMillerJeep.com.
Welcome back to Outside the Echo Chambers. Here we are coming to you at Frontier Studios at the Charleston Gazette Mail building in downtown Charleston. Hey, a lot of you know our next guest here, Bill Lepp. He's known and he's won awards at the Vandalia Gathering for the Biggest Liar competition. He's gathered here today with his daughter and kind of a different new thing, a new gig, right? Bill, welcome to the show. Eleanor, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
So, Bill, talk to me real quick about, King of Little Things. Everybody knows you from writing those op-eds in the Charleston Gazette Mail and, winning multiple awards for being a liar. What inspired you for the King of Little Things? And then we'll turn it over to Eleanor and you can tell us how this all came together.
Well, my full-time gig is to be a storyteller. I travel all around the country telling stories, so I'm always writing new stories. And in about 2005, I guess, my oldest child said to me, "Let's play Kingdoms." And I said, okay, and they said, I'll get the stuff from my kingdom, and got the Tyrannosaurus Rex and the Jumbo Jet and the Tonka Truck Dump Truck, and said, I'll be the king of big things. And I said, what do I get to be king of? And they gave me a jack and a marble and said, you can be the king of little things. And I said, what a great idea for a story, Catch in the Cradle. I'm going to my office, you play by yourself. And so I went down and I wrote this story. I didn't write it as a book. I wrote it as something to tell out loud. And then a friend of mine who's a prominent children's book author said, would you like that to be a book? And I was like, yeah, I'd like that to be a book. And she said, we might need to edit it a little bit. And I said, I don't care as long as there's 3 words left by Bill Lepp. And that's kind of how it turned out. And then we spent the next about 5 or 6 years just going through the editing process. And then in 2013, I think, the book came out. And then I wrote it as a play for a friend of mine to do a puppet show, and then COVID came along, and the play didn't happen, and then Children's Theater got a hold of it.
So now, Eleanor, now you come in. Now you take his book and his play and his story right here and bring it to life this weekend, correct?
Yes, sir.
This is the debut.
Yes.
All right. Well, tell me about that.
Okay, this is my first ever directing gig. So Children's Theater of Charleston has a teen group within it, which is called Beyond the Stage. So we're very focused on giving high school students the chance to work in theater, like, beyond just acting. So focused in lighting and costume design and sound design and all of the backstage stuff. So our teen group Beyond the Stage puts on a show every year within CTOC, and I'm the president of Beyond the Stage this year, so I was kind of in charge of getting everything together. And we were in our meeting, and we were trying to figure out what show we wanted to do, and we couldn't figure it out, and we were super stressed. And then I was like, my dad has a show. So we hadn't even decided that we were going to do it, so it wasn't like I was picked, and then we chose the script, so it wasn't like Ellie's going to be directing her dad's show. It was Ellie's directing, and then we were trying to figure out what show to do, so I texted Dad, and I was like, can we do your show? And he was like, I guess. So now we're here.
Now you're here, yeah.
Opens tomorrow at 7.
So did he come in and, like, give everybody kind of an overview or tell his story, or did you just bring it to life based on the words that were written?
We pretty much brought it to life from the words that were written. And it's really interesting because, when you do a bigger show, when you do Beauty and the Beast or Cinderella, you have stuff to work off of. Everybody knows those characters. Everybody knows the story. But this is the first time that this show has ever been staged. So we really have the chance to create the characters and create the story and create how the show will be viewed, which is really exciting.
So picking out the people, picking out the characters and who was going to play what role, that was always a treat. So as a director now in the Charleston Theater, you guys do a fantastic job, the Children's Theater over there. Talk about when does this starts tomorrow, tonight? When's it start? What time?
The show starts tomorrow at 7. We will be in the Sculpture Garden at the Clay Center.
How long does it go for?
It's about 45 minutes.
Okay, and then it's just a one-time showing, or is there a couple?
So we have tomorrow night at 7, and then Saturday at 2 and at 7. So 3 chances to come see it.
No, this is great. Now, will your dad be there?
I will. I haven't seen it yet. I've been working on some of the set stuff, helping the young man that's doing the set, but I've heard a lot. You can hear the rehearsal, but I've deliberately not watched it. So I'm very excited to. It sounds great. I'm very excited to see it for the first time. So I should be there for all 3 shows. I mean, the whole family's coming in, and it's free. We should mention that too.
Oh, okay.
It's at the Sculpture Garden at the Clay Center, and it's free. And so for those people that can't get into our play, then they can go to Live on the Levee if they're still looking for something to do.
That's right. They can find you guys and go over there and have a full night event.
That's right.
So, well, Bill, it's got to be heartwarming to see this come to happen, to see your daughter work on this show. This is a fantastic opportunity. It's a good success story. Now, you're still doing the Biggest Liar competition and stuff like that too, or you shifted gears to things like this?
I do anything that pays. So my brother Paul won the Liars Contest 6 times, and then I won it 5. And then I became a professional storyteller. And that's been my full-time gig for about 18, 19 years. And the Liars Contest is an amateur Liars Contest, so I'm not allowed to enter anymore.
You've moved on. You're past that.
Well, yeah, but I've been a judge or the MC just about every year since the 90s. So I'll be there on Sunday. I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing, but I am still involved in the contest.
Well, you write some great pieces. I know you write for the paper and whatnot, and you submit great op-eds. Do you see any other of your writings possibly becoming a play in the future?
I'd love it. I have another children's book called The Princess and the Pickup Truck, which is based on The Princess and the Pea. I think that'd be a great play.
It sounds good. That'd be entertaining, that's for sure.
I mean, I'm interested. Like I was saying to Ellie, like they say in the theater business, from Charleston Children's Theater to Broadway. So I'm just hoping, this goes right up the line.
We got to keep him writing, right, to keep you directing and whatnot. So are they most of them children's books or what you write, or is it a little storytelling, a little bit of everything?
Yeah, I have 3 books of just the stories that I tell, and then 2 children's books, and then a couple other things.
And now, will this be your first play that you've directed, or have you directed other ones?
Yeah, this is my first play that I've ever directed. And then my assistant director, this is her first time assistant directing. So it's everyone's kind of first time ever doing our thing.
This is great. No, I mean, children's theater and, doing it yourself. Now, what happens with you in the fall? Are you going off to school? Or
I am, yeah. I'm going to Shepherd University in the fall.
Go Rams. It is the Rams, right?
Yeah. Go Rams.
Go Rams.
And I'm actually majoring in contemporary theater studies. So. Do
we have a pretty good theater group here in Charleston? I mean, it's pretty, from a children's standpoint.
So Children's Theater of Charleston is incredible. I'm a little biased, but it's great. We have a great budget. We have a great community. And then there's so many theaters in Charleston. I didn't even know until I started getting more involved in the theater world. But just like around here, we have so many theaters and community theaters, children's theaters, like everything you could ever imagine.
No, it's great.
Mm-hmm.
How many kids were in Beauty and the Beast?
60, I think.
From what ages to 18?
8 to 18.
That's amazing.
And there's 24 kids in this play?
20.
Plus then the people that are doing costumes and all that.
Because all of our production crew are teenagers.
Well, the arts, we had Live on the Levee, we talked about that, and the arts and entertainment, and this is just a continuation from a different standpoint, and I think it's great to see people. Do you see some of your colleagues going off into college as well, too, and continuing their career in the theater in West Virginia?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, good. We want to state, and we have just passed a film credit up there in the state legislature that encourages. That was gone for a long time. It was a tax credit, so
that's
we finally.
Why my TV show didn't get shot here.
That's right. It was ridiculous for what we passed all these other tax credits, but that's something that meant so much. So, as a person in your field, and you as a storyteller and a film producer, what does that mean to West Virginia? I mean, they took that outside the state to take advantage of the tax credit, right? Now, for those things could be filmed here now.
Yeah, I think it's great. Anytime, we have so many fantastic artists, performing artists, just here in Charleston. And, I was a preacher for a very short time down in Meadow Bridge in Fayette County, and we had a kid in our youth group named Tisha Bumgardner, and she, came from kind of a hard scrabble life and went out to Hollywood and tried to make it there, and that wasn't working, so she put herself through school. Now she's a PhD, she's a professor at Marshall, and she's making TV shows and movies right here in Charleston. It's there's so many fantastic artists in this community, and if we can get the film industry going like they had in North Carolina or do have in Atlanta, I mean, it's a great place for it. So bring it on.
Well, this is great. Well, hey, I can't thank you all enough for being on the show. This is exciting. The King of Little Things, tomorrow night.
Yes, sir.
7 p.m.? Free. Encourage everybody to get out there. Thanks for being on the show. I appreciate you. Eleanor, good luck in your first production, and good luck this fall as you move on to bigger and better things. Okay. Thank you, guys. We're going to take a quick break on Outside the Echo Chamber when we wrap up.
Looking for a friendly bank that you can turn to in your community? Bank where the decisions on your needs are made locally. With online banking and 7 locations. Poca Valley Bank, where relationships matter.
A new day begins. And what happens today must be covered, reported, and passed on to everyone in the region we serve. We are journalists, staff writers, editors, storytellers. Who are we? We are HD Media, trustworthy and always here for the times we live in.
What started as the Parmar Oil Company in 1967 has grown into 116 convenience stores in 4 states. Parmar convenience stores offer monthly product specials and grab-and-go items. Located just down the street from where you live, Parmar stores are all about being your above-par convenience store. If you don't have a Parmar store near you now, you will soon. Parmar Convenience Stores, neighbors serving your community and making life a little bit easier every day.
Well, thanks again for joining us today on Outside the Echo Chamber here from the Frontier Studios, Charleston Gazette Mail Building, HD Media Productions. Big thank you again to the Media Center for all they do. Everyone, I encourage you, go out, have a great weekend. We had some fantastic guests talking about all that's happening in downtown Charleston. We just had Bill Lepp and his daughter Eleanor. They're going to have a fantastic production over the weekend at that free production over the weekend at the Clay Center Botanical Garden outside. Live on the Levee kicks off Friday night. Big thank you to John and Matt for being here telling us about the upcoming lineup. And can't forget all the stuff that Shantay Ellis is doing and the YWCA. Thank you so much for tuning into our show. Once again, we'll come back to you on Tuesday and Thursday right here at 9:30 a.m. All our shows are archived out there. Live shows are archived on our websites, heralddispatch.com, charlestongazettemail.com. And don't forget, send us your comments. Send us your feedback. Outside the Echo Chamber at HD Media LLC. Let us know who you'd like to hear from. Talk about those issues. Help us take a deeper dive into all that's happening around Charleston, the Greater Canal Valley, and West Virginia. Go out there, have a wonderful Memorial Day, everybody. Be safe. We'll see you next time.